Now, when you get the notice from your insurance company, especially the first one we got after the law changed, they said, you've got some choices to make. And the implication is there's choices you can make that will save you money, or choices you can make that will give you better coverage but will cost you more money. What exactly are those choices, and what are the things that we're choosing among? Because I'm assuming they were all pretty much laid out in the statute, right?
Yes, it ties into the pitch that this new law was going to save people money. And when they talk about saving people money as a result of passing this new no-fault thing, it's not savings like in the conventional sense. It's not savings that you and I think of. Like when you see an ad on TV, they say, hey, come on in to ABC Warehouse and save on a TV. So the TV that would have cost $2,000, last month is only going to cost you $1,000. You're saving because you're paying less for the same product. That is not what's happening with no fault. They talk about savings, but it's not savings. You get to pay less if you're willing to accept less. And those are the choices that that people are being required to make when they go in to renew or apply for a new policy. And those choices are, do you want unlimited coverage? Do you want to cap your coverage at 500 or 250 or 50? And sometimes people say, well, I'll cap it because it's going to give me some savings. There are other considerations that go along with that as well. And that is, one, am I actually going to get any savings? Because the guaranteed savings that lawmakers talked about, those were only average. So that's the average that an auto insurance company had, the average rate that an insurance company was issuing, not individual people. So if you went into an insurance company and said, hey, I want the guaranteed savings that I get under this new law, they would say, well, you're not guaranteed anything. And frankly, under this new law, if we determine based on your driving history or something else, we can charge you more. The other thing that people need to consider when they're making these choices about whether they want to cap their no-fault coverage is the savings that people are supposed to be getting are considerably more limited, because there's a lot of talk that if you choose a lower rate for your medical coverage, it's associated with a 45% reduction in premium. So people think, wow, I'm going to pay 50% less on my premium. No, you're not. You're going to pay 50% less on the no-fault portion of your premium, which is about 35% of your premium. Right. So take that small little piece of your premium, cut that in half, and that's your savings. It's a far cry, and sometimes we say, you can't afford these savings. And what we're talking about is, if you cap your medical coverage at $250,000 or $500,000, that means that if you're in a catastrophic injury and you or a loved one is seriously injured and your bills are just blowing through the roof, when you hit that $500,000, it's up to you. You got to figure out what's going on. You got to figure out if you have health insurance or if you got Medicaid or Medicare or some other coverage, or you're independently wealthy, or you can sell your house, or you can something to cover those bills. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid. You can't sue anybody at that point. You can't sue your insurance company. You can't do any of that.
Yeah.
You could possibly sue the at-fault driver, but they're going to have their own liability limits, and how many people are so independently wealthy or own that many assets that they can cash out for $500,000 to give it to somebody they just injured.
Yeah.
The other choice that you're mentioning relates to liability coverage. That is a good choice. Unfortunately, it's going to probably cost more money, but it's needed now. What they did was they increased the liability limits. It used to be $20,000 for an accident. Sorry. The liability limits used to be $20,000, $40,000, which meant that if you caused an accident and somebody was injured in that accident, your liability coverage would pay for up to $20,000. They increased that up to $250,000. You can still go with $50,000, but they increased the limits. Those, and you have a choice between whether you want to go with $50,000 or $250,000. in terms of liability coverage. That is a good thing, because right now, every one of us driving on the road is at a much higher risk and a much greater exposure if we sadly cause an accident and somebody's injured, because we've always been subject to having to pay pain and suffering compensation to somebody if we cause an accident and they're injured. We still have to do that. However, under this new law, if I cause an accident and I injure somebody and they only have $250,000 in medical coverage under their policy, but their bills are $500,000 or $1 million, they get to sue me for the rest of that. And only if I have a very robust liability policy am I going to be able to use my insurance to help take care of that liability.
Yeah.